Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day today. So today, while we are building Tony Stark's California mansion, we are talking Infinity War. Woo! And if you haven't seen the film yet, then go and watch it. Come back, because we are talking full spoilers. So I will kick off by saying I think this is one of the most amazing Marvel movies that I have ever seen. Having watched all of them several times, well, more than several times, probably some of them like nearly like 10 times. It was just an amazing experience. I was tense throughout the whole flipping film. My legs were like really sore afterwards because I was just tensing my whole body because it was so dramatic, so sad. They set the tone so perfectly well with the beginning. When I thought we were going to have a nice jaunty Marvel opening logo, but no, I was wrong. We are going to set the tone as soon as we hit that logo, and having it start straight away with the Asgardian sort of call for help that finally gets picked up by the Guardians of the Galaxy, but setting that tone straight from the start. We have massive highs, massive lows. I was so shocked, but we'll get into each character. I've done a little thing for each character because I've got about like 5 pages of notes on this because I needed to write everything down. It looked amazing as well. I went to see it in the IMAX with some lovely reclining seats, which made it even better. But the effects were super good. The only thing was like Spider-Man swinging under the bridge. That was a bit blurry. But other than that, I can't really fault, except in big battle scenes, obviously, because they're normally quite blurry anyway. But let us go into the characters. Everyone got on super well. I was really surprised. I didn't think everyone would get equal screen time. Well, they kind of didn't, because we saw less Cap and less Falcon and that kind of group. The Wakandan group didn't get as much, but still perfect in their own way. But everyone worked well. I love the chemistry between some of them, which I'll get into when we get to them. But it was super good. So I'll start off with our leading man, Tony. He had some amazing dialogue, especially between him, Strange, and Spider-Man and Peter Quill, and that whole dynamic of who is the adult in the room. Such good quips, such bants between them all, and especially even though it was spoiled before, but the slapping him with the cape on the thing, that was a classic thing. His new suit was amazing. I have a love for Tony Stark anyway. He is my favourite Avenger. I am Team Iron Man all the way, sat here in my Stark Industries t-shirt that I got for my birthday. But his suit was amazing. That nanotech was pretty awesome, and it's nice to see that he has prepared himself for the oncoming threat. I kind of really interested to see how him and Thanos are actually connected together, because it alluded to the fact that they have some sort of connection with each other. I really want them to go into that, because how do they know of each other? Obviously we had the Battle of Shatari in New York, but really they actually haven't met each other unless Loki told Thanos about him. And I think he had some great emotion as well with poor Spider-Man, who's my next character on the list. Oh, his death scene, my God, it had me in floods of tears. He was just amazing. He connected us with everyone, because obviously he didn't know who anyone was, and forgetting people's names, and his new suit was fantastic. I love the Iron Spider suit. We don't know how much we've actually got. He's got in it. We know he's got the little tendrils and stuff, which work really well. Him being copied by the cape was just on point, and him obviously dissing Peter Quill's bad 80s references. That was amazing too. He deserves an Oscar for his death scene. And then we get on to my boy Strange. He was fantastic. I have a soft spot for Strange just because his movie is very similar to what I like. I love black holes, I love quantum stuff, I love just weird shit happening with space and time. So his battle between him and Thanos, I nearly shouted at the screen because I was just like, mirror cracks, black hole. I was just dying. I don't know. It was too much, but it did creep me out when he had 8 arms, and it was quite cool to see. I don't know whether that was his plan, because he obviously looked and saw all the multiple possibilities. Because I thought when he handed over the time stone, he would have cursed it or something, but no, he just gave it over. I think that was part of his plan. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And I was quite surprised that he disappeared as well. Because I don't know whether Wong's gone. Wong was great as well, because obviously they are bros together. What else do I have? Yeah, him and Tony Stark. I did want a facial hair bros thing, but we didn't get it this time. We might get it next time. I have written best battle because I am very impartial. And then we go on to Star-Lord, the ruiner of the plan, or not. He probably saw that coming, because obviously he didn't stop him from smacking Thanos over the head, which obviously puts into question. He knew that was going to happen all the time. He had some really good scenes. It was really heartbreaking to see him actually follow through, but he didn't, because Thanos turned all the bubbles. That was really cool. And his pop references and the Thor scene, that was so funny, even though we'd seen it beforehand. That was hilarious, with him trying to out for Thor. And Drax, he had some amazing comic moments. I loved his slow thing that made everyone in the theatre laugh. That was so good. And when Thanos turned him and Mantis into the bricks, I was properly oh my god, because we didn't really get to see the proper full force of the reality stone and the stones in general. So that was quite a cool moment, and I know that's in the comics and stuff as well. So that was a really good moment, and Mantis using her little power of sleep to try and make Thanos get his glove off, because obviously that didn't work. And obviously her humour as well. She always brings some really good stuff. And then we get on to Gamora, which I couldn't believe that she was one of the deaths. That was so unexpected. Her relationship with Thanos and bringing the whole backstory in was really well done. And I'm sure Thanos thinks of her still as that small child that he saved, and that's why when he threw her off, I was just that's one of the times where I started crying, and then was laughing again in about 5 minutes time. But that whole scene, you could really believe that Thanos did not want to throw her off the cliff, but he had to, because he has to do his thing. She was super well, she was super strong. As a character in this, it kind of really developed her sort of story and her relationship with Nebula as well. Even though Nebula wasn't really in it that much, it was quite nice that she popped up at the end. I don't know how her and Tony are going to get back to Earth to meet up with Cap. And then obviously the surprise thing when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, that now they're going to mention death and that's why he's there. But no, it is Red Skull. Just random. That's where he's been all this time from Captain America, the first Avenger. He has been just hanging out in space, looking after the Soul Stone, telling people to lob their loved ones over the cliff, which you can imagine Red Skull doing, actually. But that was such a shock. I think, I probably gasped at that. That was really good. And I really like the fact that he's some weird space entity now that just knows a lot more than he did trying to kill everyone on Earth as Hydra. And then we have Viz and Scarlet Witch. their love story really got to me. I was just like, they have grown so much together, obviously, in the time that they've been away on the run, and him being himself for once, good old Paul Bettany, and not being his purple self was super nice to see. And just her powers have grown so much as well. She, as Thingy said, I can never remember her name. I think it's Nikita, I think. But as she said, like, why was she not in play in this battle? She was so powered, and obviously she knows how to get into the mind of the Mind Stone. So she should have just destroyed it, and we would have all been done with anyone who had a Infinity Stone. Should have just destroyed it, and we wouldn't have the problem we've got. But it's easier said than done, really. So her little arc, and then when you thought they'd finally won at the end when she destroyed it, he just reverses that time and brings him all back. That was so heartbreaking, and obviously she's not around for the next bit. And her team up with Black Widow and Nikki, I'm just going to call her Nikita because that's the only name I can actually think of, was incredible. I'd love to see a woman's Avengers with like them and Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel should be in it anyway because she's an amazing character. But that'd be super awesome if they did that in the future. And what else they have? Maybe cry so many times. And her self-sacrifice, which was a major theme in this, sacrificing for the greater good, even whether your plan is ridiculous and you should just make more food or more stuff. But obviously that is the way he's going. Cap, I did like him more in this film for some reason. I don't dislike Cap, but sometimes he is a bit too like good for his own good. Obviously I said earlier that I am a Team Iron Man person, so it's kind of I did like him in this. He probably get more screen time in the next one because of the fact that they've only got the core first Avengers in this. He was really good. I loved his like, I am Steve Rogers. He's so innocent and pure. I can't hate him all the time, but it was nice to see him with his new look. And obviously he lost Bucky again. It's like, how many times does this poor man lose his best friend? And then we got Falcon and War Machine. Obviously War Machine letting them back in the facility and bringing them back, and it was nice to see that he's still got his sort of injury from Civil War. It seems like him and Falcon are becoming an even more great team together, especially their fight in Wakanda. Them two just flying around being best bros, that was quite cool to see. But we obviously didn't get too much of them, but Rhodey's still around, so we'll probably get some more of him. And then I already said about Black Widow still being badass. It was quite nice to address the fact that her and Banner still have a thing together, and Falcon was also cringing out, probably with the rest of us, and her teaming up with Scarlet and Nikita as well. Obviously we'll get to see more of Black Widow as well. And then obviously moving on to the Bruce Banner himself. It was so interesting, his little arc over the films. Obviously, he did go from literally one to the other, so that was quite nice. He was like a good connecting character. Obviously, the Hulk got beat up at the beginning from Thanos. Was that why he couldn't get him to come out? Was he scared? Did he not do the whole Planet Hulk thing where he's back on Earth again, so he doesn't want everyone to be upset with him because last time he destroyed everything? Is it something to do with that? Who knows? Hopefully we'll find out in the next one. It was quite nice to see him like interacting with all the different like groups. I was going to call them factions, and they're not factions, but all the different groups. That was really cool to see and link to everyone. And it was nice to have a little bit of comedy bits, because obviously he's never used the Hulk Buster before. It was a bit silly, but it was quite nice in the moment. Like he's really not used to doing all that sort of stuff. And then Black Panther, it was cool to see all the Wakandan tech doing an amazing job. And we didn't get really to see much of him, and then he done. gone. Your biggest money maker, just gone in an instant of a finger, and he is gone. And yeah, I can't really say much about Black Hawk. It was nice to see all the tribes and all their stuff again, but you know, it wasn't really in it that much. And then Thor was so OP at the end. I was just like, when he came back to Wakanda, I was like, yes, Thor, yes, come back and use your Stormbreaker. Obviously, Stormbreaker's from the comic. You used to beta ray bills whenever we're gonna actually get him. He was on the tower in Sakaar, so he is there. He exists in the MCU. His scene with Loki at the beginning. Loki's death, I still don't know whether he's actually dead. He probably is, but then we don't know what's going to happen in the fourth one. They could reverse time, because I've seen set things where they looks like they're in the first Avengers again, so who knows with Loki. But it really sets up his motivation of making the Stormbreaker, and he's finally, like, him and Rocket were just perfect together, kind of him calling him Rabbit and Rocket wanting to see this amazing thing. It was nice to see a nicer side of Rocket as well. He wasn't just all about the quips, he did actually step up and become responsible and be like a captain. And yeah, Thor should have gone for his head, as he said. That would have been great. But it's nice to see how vulnerable actually everyone is. And Rocket and Groot were amazing. Rocket, obviously, I love that scene with him and Bucky on Wakanda, with him spinning around and then going, I'm gonna have that arm. That was so Rocket, so on point, and Groot as well. And I was so happy that Groot chopped off his arm to make the Stormbreaker. I was like, yes, Groot, you are now a man. You are no longer your moody little teen self. That was so nice. And obviously him and Steve, and then we got Loki that I talked about a bit. But his character arc kind of held up from Thor Ragnarok, which was nice. He didn't just change back to being an arse. And we don't know whether he's an illusion, whether he's dead, whether he's going to come back, who knows. And then we get on to Thanos himself. Great motivation, great villain. They've definitely learned from the other ones, like Vulture. He was also amazing. So going along those lines, his relationship with Gamora was really interesting, and how that played out. And his motivations were obviously the mental, but he is technically a psychopath. So him going off on this path, you believed every step of why he was doing things. He believes in sacrificing half the universe to solve everything, and you know he will do that, and he does. And I wish he played more with the stones and their use. Obviously we saw that the most when he was fake collecting the reality stone. That was quite funny. And the bubbles, obviously it wasn't overly funny, it was more shocking than funny, but looking on back, it's funnier than it actually was watching it in the first instance, if that makes any sense. And I never thought they would kill him. That was the only downfall. I was like, oh, come on, you can't kill him now, he's got all the stones. But obviously they don't know that, so it was kind of a bit like sitting as an audience member, like when Thor smacks him through the chest. I was just like, you're not gonna kill him, he's just acting again. And I was like, oh, why can't you guys like get yourselves together and kill him? I love that moment on Titan where they're all trying to get him down, and then once he breaks free from, I can't remember the name, but I can envision the red things. I know they've got a name, but when they're like getting him down with those, and then he breaks out and then just looks at the moon, I was just like, yes, we get the scene where he throws the moon. We didn't get the whole moon thrown, obviously, but that was a really nice moment from the comics. I think it's one of them. So that was really super nice to see. And obviously him at the end smiling away, going like, my work here is done. I can chill, be Farmer Thanos. If you've not seen that, go check that out. So good. And I want to see more of why he knows about Tony. And I think Tony has to be the one that kills him in the end, I think. Unless Cap's gonna do it. It's got to be one of those two who end up picking, like they either make a new gauntlet, or because that one, the one that Thanos has got, is completely destroyed. You can just like see it charred to his hand. Obviously all the stones were right, because that's their more powerful than anything else. But the gauntlet itself, we don't actually know whether he can actually use that anymore. The plan was, obviously Strange knows more than he is definitely laying on to with his plan, because obviously they didn't actually tell us the plan. We just assumed that their plan was to get the glove off him. But whether that was actually the plan, or whether the plan was Thanos was going to kill Tony in some form, and Tony has to live in some sort of capacity to kill Thanos in the end. That's kind of my thinking. And obviously everyone gets not everyone, but half of the universe is turned to dust. So I kind of imagine that they're all in the Soul Stone, because that is what the Soul Stone does in the comics. It takes, obviously you need to sacrifice someone to get the Soul Stone. Once you've killed anyone with the Soul Stone in the gauntlet, they all get transported to the Soul Realm, where that would be quite interesting to see if they actually do that, whether all the heroes can get together in the Soul Realm and do something with that. And probably the ones that are actually left to sort out the problem, obviously they're mostly all the core old Avengers, so they're most likely the ones to actually die, because obviously the ones that have disappeared away, unless Marvel's been trolling us the whole time, have movie deals. And if they're not about, these movie deals don't actually exist. So it was heart-wrenching at the time, but obviously on reflection it's not as sad, because you're always caught up in the motion. Definitely I am. My imagination just thinks everything is real when I'm watching a film, so everything is reality in my brain when I watch a film. So I was definitely gone with the moment. And it was super interesting, the after credit scene. It was super short, and I was just like, I was expecting more. Obviously Nick Fury being Nick Fury and having his classic line at the end as he faded away with Maria. I did expect them to be in it a bit more. Obviously we'll have to wait until Captain Marvel appears, because obviously that was her symbol, not Simba, that's a completely different film. That's her symbol at the end. So whether she's in space still fighting the Kree Skrull war, then we get in the whole mess of who's actually a Skrull, who's actually real, yada yada. That's probably phase 4 in a nutshell. That's probably the new Avengers, where they're all Skrulls. And yeah, that'd be super interesting to see how she comes back, whether she has to come back from the 90s, or whether she's actually in space. I know people are debating about that now. And yeah, it was just a generally amazing film, great experience. I couldn't wish for anything else, except for maybe death, to kind of make us seem a bit more disturbed in his thinking. But then obviously it's very political, like undertones of the population here on Earth is getting more and more, and what could we do? Obviously not his solution, because that would be just ridiculous, but obviously things need to be addressed. So I really enjoyed it, and probably want to go see it again soon, so I can actually talk about the build. So at the moment we're just making little my pretend Iron Man suit thing. So we've got his suits, and obviously some for Pepper as well, and then we've got his workshop, and then I put a few Easter eggs in, like his giant teddy bear he bought for Pepper, and then we've got some like the party area, and we've got a cinema, the gym, because obviously he does a lot of boxing in the films, and then we've got his sort of bedroom at the top. It was super hard to do the flipping roofs in The Sims, like because he's got so many curved roofs and round things. It was so hard to make this because obviously The Sims does not let us do anything round, so it was a challenge, but I think it looks really cool in the end. So here are the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed my review. Leave a comment if you enjoyed it too, what you think is going to happen in the next one, what you think the soul stone does. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in the next one. If you did enjoy, give it a like and subscribe for more videos and reviews when other Marvel films come out. Bye.